Are you there?
The live stream is running and we are about to post the link.
Give me 1 second. Tracy's gonna get that on the website.
So I thought it said they were to let us in. We are in. Oh, okay.
You're in, Angela.
Cute.
All right, Jacinta just came through. Give me 1 sec. Okay, the link should be posted on our website now.
Okay.
Let me update this. Yes, it's there.
Thank you, Ms. Brunson.
You're welcome.
You are ready to take over the meeting.
All righty, we have a quorum present and we will call this meeting of the Clinical Laboratory Personnel Advisory Committee to order on August 18th, 2022 at 6:05
We have a
p.m.
problem. Oh, no. I can't. Gay, can you hear me? I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can anyone else hear me?
Yes.
Can anybody else hear her?
Yes, we can all hear
Yeah.
you.
Ask if anybody else. She asked.
Yes, and they said, well, I can't
I
hear me.
can't hear you. Can they hear you?
Yes. Can you
Why
hear,
can't we hear her?
can you hear anybody else?
That's gonna be good. We can't do this. We have to be able to hear.
We'll go ahead and begin with introductions. The link has been posted on the LSBME website. The public is invited for comments throughout the meeting, and the comments will be sent by email to publiccomment@lsbme.la.gov. We will begin with identification of all the participants and be sure that we can hear each other. And if you're one of the new members, if you would welcome and introduce yourself as being one of the new members. And I will begin. My name is Gay Brunson. I represent administrative, I guess in my role on the committee. I am the lab director at Reeves Memorial in Bernice, Louisiana.
Start writing down
We'll just go across, I guess. Jessica?
I'm Jessica Lassiter. I represent the educator position on the Clinical Laboratory Personnel Committee.
Gay, can you see me and Patsy?
Yes, and I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Good.
Thank you.
We're good.
Oh, I see half of each of you.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
well,
We're kind
she's
of,
got a cold, so I'm trying.
she doesn't want to
keep
be
her
too
distance.
close to me.
Okay.
She's got me like, quarantined over here.
All right, so
All right.
let me introduce myself. I'm Angela Foley with the LSU Health Sciences Center, and I hold the educator position for secondary education.
I'm Patsy Jarrow. I'm the Associate Director of Clinical Laboratory Personnel for the Board of Medical Examiners.
I'm Ashley. Go ahead. I'm Ashley Ware. I represent the lab assistant position on the board.
I'm Michelle Warner. I'm clinical compliance for Delta Pathology, and I represent lab managers.
Who else is there? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got to have 2 more people. We got to.
Beverly Ogden's here.
Is she?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm Beverly Ogden. I'm the representative from the Louisiana Pathology Society.
Okay.
Belinda?
Hi, good afternoon.
Belinda. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Valinda Carmen Walker, and I am the core laboratory manager at Ochsner Health in New Orleans.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad
Melissa?
to be here.
Hello, I'm Melissa Hamilton. I am the cytology supervisor at Ochsner Health in New Orleans.
Okay. All right. Nadlin?
Oh, my name is Nadlin Rito. I'm the Medical Laboratory Science Program Director at South Louisiana Community College in Lafayette.
Okay, welcome.
Okay, Nadlin, Melissa, and Belinda are all new to our committee, and we welcome you. And I think you were supposed to, did y'all take your oath yet? You did. Okay, that's good. Okay, well, welcome to the committee. And that's it. So do I have everybody that's on?
All the members have introduced themselves. There's still other people attending that have not.
Okay, give me those because I'm writing them down.
All right, we have Paula.
Paula, okay. Dr. Cresswell, Tracy Morrow.
Uh-huh.
Is Jacinta on or not?
I am. I'm under Zoom admin.
Okay, you are. Dr. Van is?
Yes, sir, ma'am, I am here.
Okay, that's good.
Alexa is on, right?
Alexa?
Alexa needs to introduce herself.
Okay, Alexa, go ahead.
Alexa Little, I'm the CLIA program manager.
Okay.
We have
And what about Ms. Whip?
Tabitha.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Whip. I am the Opelousas General South Campus Supervisor, and I represent the MLT side of the board.
Okay. Do we have everybody?
And then we have Ms. Wilton and
Yes,
Tracy.
Patricia Wilton, one of the attorneys for the board, and I assist with the CLP committee.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm Dr. Lawrence Cresswell. I'm the Director of Investigations for the LSBME.
Okay. Paula, did you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
She
I
did?
did not. Paula Pigford, a medical board investigator.
Okay.
And
Okay, does
Tracy?
is there anybody else?
I'm Tracy Morrow, IT Technical Support Specialist with the Louisiana State Board.
Okay, thank you. So that's it. All right, that's good.
Okay. So everybody is introduced and visible and can hear and see. Again, public comments are to be emailed to publiccomment@lsbme.la.gov. We have a lot to get through tonight, so we'll get going. On the agenda I have, next will be approval of the minutes. They were in the on the cloud share that everyone was sent a link to. The first set of minutes is from August 5th of 2021.
She said three. Oh, she said three.
Okay.
We will need a recommendation. We'll either need discussion or recommendation to approve as is and second.
I recommend to approve as is.
And that's Michelle Werner.
I second Tabitha
And that
Whip.
is, who's that?
Tabitha Whip.
Thank you. All right, the next set of minutes is from November 8th of 2021. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes or any discussion?
I motion to approve them.
That's
Tabitha again.
Ashley. Who was second?
I'll second. I'll Tabitha.
Tabitha, thank you. All right, the third set is December 6th of 2021. Do I have any discussion? Or a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve them. Tabitha again.
Tabitha, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
And that'd be Michelle. All right, thank y'all. Under new business, the first on our list is additions to the CE provider list. Patsy, do you have something for that?
I just wanted to bring up that when we do need to add to that provider list, that we need to talk about those. We need to then get them, the committee needs to approve them, and then we can put them on CE Broker. And then anything that provider, delivers will be acceptable and will go into their people's continuing education. So if you do have somebody that, some provider we need to add, then we need to do that. And they need to be at the national, we're not talking about hospital kind of things or individual little organizations. They need to be kind of national type providers.
Okay. Do we have a percentage of our lab personnel that are signed up on CE Broker? Do we know?
I hope they all are, because that's the
I do
only way
too.
they can, that's the only way they can renew. So they have to.
Okay.
Well,
right?
Let me say to you, Ms. Munson, it is certainly not 100%. It is really not even 70%, but you all renew at one time at the end of the year. And what's going to happen as we get to the end of the year, they're going to start getting notices that you got to get your CEs in, you have to get your accounts set up. And so I think that as we approach the end of the year and the deadlines, it's like everybody, they put it off till the last minute, and I can't do much about that. But I will tell you that the board has empowered us. We will not renew if you don't have those continuing education units.
Okay.
Do we have a list of the CE providers anywhere?
It's on
You
CE
can-
Broker.
It's on CE Broker. You can go to them and look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Next under new business is Jacinta, would you let Melanie in if she's there?
She's viewing it via the YouTube link right now.
Okay, it's the LSCLS CE proposal. We received a letter from, is everyone familiar with what the LSCLS is? That is our professional organization for medical laboratory scientists. And they have presented a proposal to us that is
state professional organization, LSCLS, right?
the state. It's
okay.
the state
Louisiana Society.
The State Society of the National ASCLS.
Ms. Munson, I'm sharing the letter on the screen right now for you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. There are meetings held annually, except during COVID, between Louisiana and Mississippi. The upcoming meeting is going to be in November, and the Louisiana chapter of ASCLS has sent this proposal to us to have a joint venture.
November? Wait, would you say, Gay? The
Excuse me?
upcoming meeting is in next March, you mean?
It's in March in Monroe, Louisiana. See right there on the top
Yeah,
paragraph?
okay, I see it. Yeah. I thought you said November, but that's okay.
That's my accent. But anyway, they are reaching out to the committee, the board via the committee, to partner with them in presenting continuing education to our members and the members of the state. Do y'all have any discussion?
Need to verify that that is free continuing education to any LSBME licensed personnel, lab personnel.
Correct, because that's in our rules and law.
I have a question. This is Tabitha. Is this open to anybody to join this society, or is it only people who have the ASCLS?
ASCLS is open to, well, it doesn't matter whether you have a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree, or if you are retired or Michelle, it doesn't matter to any, we don't have
It
any
does.
regulations for who joins.
Anybody can join, LS.
Anybody can join and, sorry, Michelle.
I was just gonna say, anybody can join LSCLS, but it's joined through ASCLS, which is the American Society of Clinical Laboratory Scientists.
And these, from my understanding of the letter, it'll need to be verified, but their proposal is open. You don't have to be a member to receive the free continuing education that is distance learning. It's only, you have to have a state license to
Correct.
receive the free continuing education, which that would be the people who need it.
Correct. Anybody that holds a LSBME license will be allowed opportunities for these 12 hours of continuing education.
And let me clear up, the 12 hours will be in person, just because that's the only, when you attend in person, that's the most you can get in a couple of days time. But the remaining, all the rest, 18 hours will be available recorded. So they have the potential of having up to 30 continuing education hours.
All right, 12 on site and the 18 distance learning.
Within a certain
recorded.
time frame. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And there are PACE approved, which is part of our already pre-approved.
So
continuing
nobody
education.
that goes to the meeting will pay registration. Is that correct?
True.
Well,
Well,
no licensed clinical laboratory personnel will pay registration.
Okay.
Now, if it's an attendee from Mississippi or someone in Louisiana that's not a licensed clinical laboratory personnel member, for instance, a student that's not licensed, would have to pay.
Okay.
Or our Arkansas constituents that
Yes.
sometimes come.
So this continuing education is going to only be available for 30 days, right?
Well, we really have flexibility. How long would you like it to be available? How long is the existing continuing education available?
Year round.
Okay. I mean, we can check in.
Ms. Lassiter,
Yes, sir.
this is Dr. Collada. Is this in addition to what we already have? Is this an intention to a bid to replace the current contractor? I think we need a little more details about all of that, because if this is in addition to what we're already providing, I'm going to need to get this to the board. And if it's an issue of replacing the current provider, I need a real contract proposal from you all. In addition, if it's going to be, if you're adding it, I need a contract proposal. And this letter is fine, but I need all of the details. I need to understand what your goal is. Is this an additional programming that you want to provide that in addition to what's already being provided by the current contractor? Are you attempting to replace the current contractor? Tell me what's going on here.
We're attempting to offer the continuing education hour. We already offer them every other year. So we were attempting to offer them and using some of the funding that we pay in licensure each year. So I'm pretty sure last October or so, I don't know if I saw a contract, but if you need a contract, is there an example you can provide us of what type of contract? Do you have the existing contract that we can look at?
Well, again, are you attempting to replace the current contractor?
I don't think so, because this meeting's only every other year.
Yeah, we're offering to provide. We're going to go through with planning, acquiring, offering, recording, saving all of these sessions with using the expense from our licensure fees. So it could be a replacement of what we currently have. I mean, it's more than what's offered now, right?
No, I don't think so.
Not necessarily, no.
How many
So,
hours
yeah.
offered currently?
Aren't there
Well, I
12 a
guess-
year?
Oh, no, everybody has to have 12 a year. A lot more is offered.
By distance learning by the state?
Yes, uh-huh.
I usually just get an invitation for 6 in the spring and 6 in the fall.
That's when we used to do them face to face. Now that they're delivered virtually, we offer about, it's at least 24. It may be, I'm not sure what the number is.
Oh, okay.
So where is I mean, don't you have to, submit advertisement for this contract? Do you have something, that states what we have to provide to propose to tap into this funding?
Well, now that I understand what you want to do, and that is to replace the current contractor, then I think we'll get you the information, and then we'll look at the competitive bid and see what it does. I think, if you're interested in additional CLEs or continuing lab education, we are happy to consider it that way. But again, I've not been clear, and I think you're telling me that you want to replace the current contractor.
No, Dr. Collada.
Okay.
The addition, it's not a replacement. It's just an additional opportunity for LSBME licensed personnel to acquire continuing education, as they will already be going to these meetings that they go to, that we host every other year in the state of Louisiana.
All right. Well, based on this, Ms. Falcon will get some information back from our legal team to tell them what we need to have in the contract. I need to look at the budget, and we will get back to you very shortly at your next meeting with the details on what they provide, whether it's within the budgetary frame, and get the approval of the board, and we'll get it done for you.
Thank you.
But again, you may be requested for a lot of detail, and we'll send you that information very shortly.
I'm sure Ms. Falcon will be looking forward to your email.
Okay, great.
All righty, moving on. The next item of new business is response to the proposed CLIA regulation changes. Who's going to lead this discussion?
Yes, I don't know. You talk to, why don't you? Because
She's telling me. So I'm really not qualified to do this, but I will say, Alexa, Alexa can talk at this meeting, right?
Yes.
She
Can
can.
I
Alexa,
share?
tell us what the proposed changes are coming up.
Okay, Alexa, you want to share
understand.
this document that you sent all of us in the last couple of hours? Alexa.
Do you want me to share it? Like share screen? I emailed it to everybody that
I
was
mean, I
on.
have it pulled up, but I don't know how I get to share my screen. I don't know.
Nobody sent it to me, or I'd share it for you. But if you want, send it to me right now, and I'll get it up as soon as I can get it.
Well, then how
'Cause
am
we're
I
not the
going to
host.
type on the rules if I can't share my screen?
Well, ask him to make you a host.
Can you make me a host when we get to the rules? I guess.
I have the rules to share for you. I'm ready to go with that document.
No, but, okay. With the newest one that we sent you?
The newest one you
But
sent me, yes.
is that a PDF? We can't type into that. That's why
I can make
have-
notes on it.
Oh, Dr. Van.
I can make notes
The
on it.
last time that happened, Patsy
Well,
and
you
I
can make notes on your copy as well.
Okay.
had-
We'll make
Okay,
the-
well
we'll
then
make the
I'll do
notes.
that. I'll do that on mine. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. All right, Grace.
Okay, so I need Alexa's document, if she can send it to me real quick.
I'm about to forward it to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course, these two are the slow things.
I just sent it to you, so should be coming.
All right, I'm waiting for it to pop up.
Because he won't make you. you
Alexa,
can't
did
touch a host.
did something to this nature not get proposed a couple of years ago? As far as,
Yes, Well, it didn't get proposed. They published it for request of public information. So they solicited responses. It was, I believe it was 2019, maybe. It was right before COVID and everything got stalled because of COVID. And so they have timeframes for how quickly they have to post their next response. And that was COVID just knocked that out. So they reposted it for, proposed changes. They went through the comments, looked at the I think there were like 9,000 comments or something like that, and drafted the proposed changes for the regulations. Part of it is personnel. There's a big chunk of it that's personnel. It also has some other things in there with fees and things that won't really apply for our purposes tonight, at least. There are changes for all of the qualification for personnel, for testing personnel and supervisory lab director in the proposed changes.
I still haven't gotten it, Alexa. How big was the document? Because we have a 10 meg limit.
It's not big.
Okay, well, it hasn't come in through yet.
Is there a problem with me sharing my screen? Because I have it pulled up.
No, go ahead, Jacinta. Let Angela share a screen.
Oh God, now you said that, I lost it. Okay, wait a minute, okay.
Well, Jacinta's going to give you permission to share it. And you can share your screen because I don't have it yet.
Yeah, I just made her co-host.
Thank you.
Okay, well now I gotta get it. Where is Alexa?
So the attachment that I sent is kind of a breakdown, like a guide of what all is in the 90 pages of proposed changes. So it's a little easier to bullet point format, see what all they're proposing.
Okay, can everybody see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Great.
So the area likely of importance for a licensing perspective is the changes they're making to the education qualifications for, and again, these are proposed items. They are not things that are in place or going to be in place. But if the board wants to respond, we have a week.
I think we should.
Well, Alexa, would you point out the areas that you think would be particularly concerning to our practice?
I don't think I can have a personal opinion.
Okay.
I can comment.
Well, it doesn't have to be personal.
Publicly.
Just tell us what affects personnel.
So
What changes
personnel,
affect personnel?
They're changing, they're adding in, they're calling it an equivalency algorithm for qualification for education. So you don't need to have an earned degree. Currently there's a breakdown for high complexity testing personnel, a breakdown of hours to qualify without an MLT degree. So if you don't have an MLT degree, you can still meet the hours, whether you have a bachelor's degree, whatever your degree is. If you meet the 60 hours plus, I think 24 MLT or science hours, then you qualify as a high complexity testing personnel. That's in the regs already right now. They're doing similar algorithm to qualify as testing personnel and thereby all of the other personnel in CLIA for bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. So you can either earn the degree or have the hours without an earned degree in these proposed changes.
Am I looking at the right thing that you wanted us to look at right now, or should I go to that?
Down of all of the changes that, Angela, the email that I sent has the breakdown of what the algorithm actually is, because that's not in the document.
That's not Okay, so I
Open
have,
her email.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, on the email. Okay, can y'all see this email from Alexa on my screen?
Yes, scroll down a little bit. Put that
Okay.
yellow, yeah, there. Go up a little bit now.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Why won't it come up? I just had it.
Oh, no,
Was
well,
it
it's
in a
not
Word
opening.
document? It's not in a Word.
Uh-uh.
What
You
happened
just
to
had
it?
them open the message.
Oh, here. Okay.
It's
Yeah, I
there.
see it. Okay, here. So here is
There.
the message. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's it.
So their proposed change is in the regulations where it says you have to have an earned a doctoral, master, or bachelor's degree of chemical, physical, and biological science is now going to be changed to you have to have an earned degree of chemical, biological, clinical laboratory, medical laboratory science, or nursing for testing personnel. And then it'll drop down to the next one, or an equivalent based on these algorithm hours. So you don't need a bachelor's degree in chemistry. You would only need 100, I don't say only, that is a lot, 120.
Yeah.
You would need the 120 semester hours, 48 clinical laboratory science, or 12 chemistry, 12 biology, and then 24 chemistry, biology, or clinical laboratory science. They took what's associate degree currently in the regs, the breakdown of needing associate degree, and they doubled it for bachelor's. I did not put this in the email because I was trying to hurry and send it, but they do have specific chemistry classes, specific biology classes that have to be included.
Do they mention like a passing grade on this, or if somebody just gets a course, if they get the credit on their transcript, it counts?
They definitely do not include a passing grade, but I have not thought about that.
I mean, they're saying.
Don't you not get credit for the course if you don't, whatever the university?
No, you don't get credit for it.
Well, you can get credit for
if
a
a
D,
D, but
you
it's.
can't get credit for an F.
Yeah. But y'all look at this master's equivalent. They're saying a master's equivalency is 16 hours of graduate. Yeah, I had a lot more than 16 hours in my master's degree. How can that be equivalent?
Well, the committee, I think, generated a letter that I think I sent it from the committee to Dr. Van back in 2019. But I could not locate it. It was when we first heard that nursing was going to get to be high complexity testing.
Yeah.
Well, that's in this one too. So, I mean, I didn't really.
I wish I could find it, but
I was trying to get the breakdown of what the changes were, but I didn't include that part.
2019 document.
It may have been 18. I'm not sure.
I think it was 18.
I had mine highlighted in green with the part about the nursing. Did y'all look at it in testing personnel? Patsy, you got yours.
Yeah, I'm just saying about the nursing. I mean, I think these hours, equivalency hours, are not really equivalent in my opinion. But I also think that the way they talk about it in these proposed changes, they talk about nursing and nursing doing point of care testing. And then all of a sudden they're saying, oh, well, then if they can do point of care testing, they can do high complexity testing. That's a ridiculous jump. I mean, they don't know anything about doing high complexity
testing. Twofold. If they're going to, I would look at both sides of that. If you're going to say the associate degree equivalency is sufficient, the bachelor's degree equivalency is sufficient. I
don't think any of that's sufficient. But I don't think because a nurse has been performing point of care testing, that makes them qualified to do high complexity testing. I think that's pretty outrageous.
The comment, when I went into the national, whatever we call this document, what's it called?
Register.
National Register. Did anybody go in to that site and look at comments from, the majority, there are thousands of comments. The majority are, it's a repeated canned comment. It's like 3 paragraphs.
It was ASCP, and I'm not sure if ASCLS is part of that too. They sent it out to everybody to.
It doesn't really address the algorithm for the education requirements, like replacing just a bachelor's 120 hours instead of a bachelor's degree, or 60 hours instead of a associate degree. Mainly what they were addressing, if you see that comment, is allowing nurses, allowing nurses to do high complexity testing under their license. They
didn't really address the other stuff.
That was their main focus. And I really think that probably should be our main focus. That's the way I think that is the most critical part of this, as far as I see the practice. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people see it other ways. I mean, 60 hours plus, of which 24 hours, right, have to be in the sciences, is not really a whole lot different from what it's been. It's just saying that you don't actually have to have a Bachelor of Science degree or associate degree, but you have to have at least 60 hours, and 24 have to be in the sciences. I mean, that's not really a whole lot. Is that right, Alexa?
That's pretty different from what an MLT has.
But they never said you had to be an MLT to do moderate complex. I mean, right? The MLT and MLS were never part of the CLIA regs. It was the degree and years of experience or months of training, right, Alexa?
Correct.
That was never in the CLIA regs, MLS.
So currently the associate degree, what's listed there is in the regulations for high complexity. So that's what's required for meeting the education requirements for high complexity currently by CLIA.
So they're removing that degree.
No, they're leaving it. They're leaving it. They're leaving the hours. They're just following the same mechanism to have an alternative degree, or don't have a degree for bachelor's, master's, doctorate.
Right. If you read what they said, you don't have to have the paper that says you got a Bachelor of Science degree from Nichols or ULL or LSU. But if you have 120 college credit hours, of which at least 48, right, Alexa? Or in the sciences?
48.
Right? 48?
Yes.
48, right?
Yes.
Then you would qualify to do high complexity testing under CLIA. And if you had an associate, 60 hours of college credit and 24 hours, and even though you don't have an Associate of Science degree, but you've got those 60 hours of credit and 24 hours of science, then you qualify.
Plus a certain amount.
You have to have some training. You have to have
of laboratory experience.
For both of them, you have to have laboratory experience. Right, Alexa?
That is correct.
Okay, what is a committee? Do we have a recommendation of a response from our committee? Do we need to take a vote on somebody? Dr. Van, what would we as a committee need to do to have an opinion to send to the board? Or where should we go from here?
Well, the question is, what do you want to say? And then the question is, we can send a response, or do you want to say, despite what CLIA says, we don't want to change our regulations or our rules? But I think so many of our rules are linked to CLIA that we would have to redo some significant portion of them to delink from CLIA. So The real question is, what does the committee, advisory committee, want to tell the board and subsequently the CMS about this?
This is Madeline. I have a comment. Oh, so in addition to the number of hours, speaking as an educator, so they should also include, if you have, 24 hours with, a certain amount of laboratory training or experience, it should be combined, not separated. Because as an MLT program director, I have students who have bachelor degrees in biology, microbiology, or chemistry. So, they have this bachelor's degree, but they have no idea, know anything about medical laboratory science. So, the training still needs to be, a big part of that, the laboratory experience, not just having the educational hours. So I think it should be something that's combined.
Well,
Now,
it is.
They
They
do
say
have
that.
clinical training requirements. These are just educational. There is an experience requirement within the CLIA regulations, right, Alexa? You can say what they are, right?
That's correct. It's 3 months training in any specialty you perform. So if you do hematology, you need 3 months training. If you do chemistry, 3 months training in that specialty.
They're
Okay.
leaving that.
Okay, so like with the nursing issue, where would that nurse get, this type of training? Who's
They
going to
would.
train that
And
nurse?
That's the biggest
That's
issue.
why I think that should be our focus as a committee.
So if if we streamline our guidelines, then that nurse can't cross over. They're only able to stay in their lane and let us stay in our lane. So we just have to make it defined to what we want it to be.
But this is CLIA. This is what we're talking about, is making a
Federal
recommendation to
regulations.
CLIA, not our rules.
So we need, I think we need to oppose the change in CLIA, that they're proposing that a bachelor's degree in nursing, it can qualify them to do high complexity testing with just the nursing, no additional clinical experience or anything, that just their bachelor's degree in nursing can qualify them to do all levels of laboratory testing. I think that's where our focus
Okay,
needs to be.
what does the committee think about this? If everyone will write their recommendations for what sort of deadline are we on?
A week.
Alexa?
You have 1 week. It closes the 25th at 4 p.m.
So then do we need to be just sending them as individuals?
I think we should do both.
But I don't see how we're gonna get a letter comprised for everybody on the committee to agree for us that we agree to this letter to send to the board.
Can we form a task force and a small group of people compose
Or y'all-
this letter, maybe meet next?
We could, or y'all could authorize me to compose a letter with y'all's input to send to Dr. Van.
I will.
I mean, whatever y'all want to do.
That
I
would
think
be
that's fine.
If you write a letter, could you just send it to us and give us like 24 hours to respond with any,
Additions
possible
or-
Yes.
edits?
Yeah, but we need to get the move on because I
We
don't want to
do.
be
Real
late.
fast.
Yeah.
Right,
In this
so-
federal registry, if y'all want it, this is what to me is the most insulting. We
But
do
look,
not
with
have
this,
any-
let me ask y'all this. Let me ask you this real quick. Would the letter, Dr. Van, need to go to the board, or as a committee, can we submit this letter to the CLIA comments?
You as individuals can do it. If you want it to come from the board will have to approve it. And the board meets on the 29th, I believe it is,
Which is
Monday, 2
Right.
weeks.
But
So it's too late to send
What
it.
about the committee?
can we send it from the committee without the board?
I think it would be better if you sent it as individuals, but not from
Okay.
the committee.
So we don't
because-
have time.
Okay.
Now, it still may be good for us to send it to the board to be sure the board knows where we stand.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, and boy, and of course, as we draft rules, I mean, we can begin to, let me say this to you. While CLIA could be the lowest common denominator, Louisiana could choose to go higher. There would be obviously comments that would have to be addressed. There would be objection to it. It would probably go to an oversight hearing. But again, understand that that's the nature of rulemaking. Whatever we do, there's lots of oversight that has to happen.
I just want to read this real quickly. I understand what you're saying, Dr. Van Ryn. So in this document, it says, we do not have any reason to believe that nurses would be unable to accurately and reliably perform moderate and high complexity testing with appropriate training and demonstration of competence.
Based on what?
That's what they allege in this CLIA
That's
document.
ridiculous.
So anyway, just wanted to throw that out.
Well, I'll tell you, we do point of care testing, we do wave testing just for glucose, and we have nurses that do it, and they still can't get it right.
Oh, I know.
Testing.
They don't even get the idea of the quality control, you know?
That's the main problem. They don't appreciate the significance of quality control.
They don't.
Okay.
I had an issue today. I had a nurse run a glucose and turned it out on the wrong patient. Care glucose and turned it out on the wrong patient. And we had to go in there and fix their mistake.
Be careful lumping one whole group. You're lumping every nurse as the same when you're discussing that. This is open comments, y'all.
So as far as this,
currently moderate complexity testing by CLIA, the education requirement is a high school diploma. So they would still qualify to do wave testing, moderate complexity point of care, regardless of what happens with this current change. The difference is naming that in the regulation as blanket, you qualify for high complexity testing.
Right. Well, they're doing, we had an agreement with the nursing board that they could do moderately complex testing under their license here in the state of Louisiana. Isn't that correct, Alexa?
Yes, we still use that when we're doing surveys, inspections, and have nursing that are performing moderate complexity point of care testing. We go back to that.
But under the supervision of the laboratory.
Correct.
Right.
And that's how they can perform moderate complexity laboratory testing under their RN license.
Yes.
Right. So
as a committee on this topic, the best we can do right now is get educated and defend our profession by each sending a comment to CLIA as soon as possible.
Yes.
So, and if everyone would send me their recommendations on a committee comprised letter for us to send to the LSBME.
Yeah, as our opinion.
As our statement, I will get that together and then email it back to everyone on the committee. But I don't see that there's anything that we can vote on. We're at a point that we have to be acting as individuals right now and encouraging all others of our profession to have a voice this week and go speak on, with comments.
Also, just because I know we're probably going to be moving into the rules potentially right now, I did look at the draft that you guys sent, and what was drafted in there for licensure, even if all of these changes go in place, I don't know that it's going to impact the changes you're looking at with the current rules.
Good.
Good.
But there's nothing in it that would be
nothing contradicts what you're seeing CLIA changing.
And so I really wasn't thinking about it just from Louisiana's point of view. I mean, but we only have licensure in 12 states in the union. So, I mean, all these other states, nurses everywhere in all the United States where they don't have licensure, and some of the other states that do have licensure laws, they're very, very weak. But I mean, that they could do high complexity testing all over the United States.
Yeah, that's why we need,
Yeah,
we do need to respond.
Speak out as members of this profession. that-
Not to stick like too hard on the nursing, but it's not just nursing. You're saying somebody without an associate degree, but 60 hours can walk into blood bank and start testing.
If they have if they have at least 3 months of laboratory training, right?
Yes.
But that's
Still
the
not.
point. But okay, so prior,
3 months on the
wait a
job
minute,
training.
can I ask one more thing? So prior to these changes, did you have to have a bachelor's degree according to CLIA to do high complexity testing? No.
No, the associate degree, the 60 hours is in the regulations now.
Well, so the only change is instead of an associate degree, it's 60 hours of with 24 hours of science and the training. Have the training requirements been lessened?
No.
Okay, so the main thing is that it's not an associate degree at 60 hours, right?
That's already in the regulations.
What, the associate degree is in the regulations?
No, the 60 hours.
Oh, okay, well, that's not changed then, it's been that
Correct.
way, right?
Correct. So that's why I'm saying like there's not.
The bachelor's.
They can always walk into a blood bank lab and perform blood bank testing, right?
Correct. They can't in Louisiana because we have licensure.
Yeah, in Louisiana, they can't because we have licensure, yeah, okay.
Okay, so everybody please reach out to the comments in CLIA and defend our profession and send me your comments and I will comprise a letter from our committee for it, have everyone look at it and then send it to the board.
And instead of just copying and pasting that one that's been there thousands of times, you know, I think if you just
No, that's
say
not
that
it.
you're a practicing laboratory professional for so many years and you know, this is why you're opposing, kind of just put it in your own words, you know.
Yeah, personalize it.
Yeah,
Yes,
personalize it if
much
you-
better,
if
much
you
more
can,
impactful.
if you can.
Even if it's short, it's better, more
Yeah.
impactful than the longer letter that you just
Sure.
signed.
Sure.
Okay.
All righty, so we've got a lot to cover.
Yes, we do.
Next is rules revision. We previously approved subsections A and B. And so we are moving today to subsection, to subchapter C,
Well, okay.
which is on page 14.
I hate to tell y'all that. Have y'all looked at the document that Patsy scanned for y'all?
Yes.
Sent it.
But everything up to this point has already been voted on by the committee.
I know.
We know, but-
but, you know, there's a but.
But even after, but look, even after we finish approving each section, it's still got to be looked at again by us
Right.
to
Okay.
fine tune
I know,
it.
so we can go to B and C, I mean, to
We
the
can go-
last, because
yeah.
that's not much. And then if y'all want to spend a little time, because we've cleaned up some of the language and I think what we've done is better, but I mean, obviously it needs to be looked at by y'all
Everybody.
and by everybody. So that's kind of why Patsy sent it ahead of time.
All right, so just to be clear, we're talking about the document that's in the agenda or a different document?
No,
In the agenda.
it's in the-
Okay, then I'll put it up.
No,
go ahead.
I have it, Dr. Van. I shared it on my screen, right? Didn't I, y'all?
Okay, that's not the same document I have. Okay, that's not the same document that's in the agenda. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, it doesn't
this one
have the-
doesn't have, yeah, hold on.
It doesn't have the
I
written
pulled
in
up the-
stuff.
I pulled up the wrong one. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's why I'm trying to get it straight. Please
Thank you,
forgive me.
Thank you. Oh, God, Patsy, why don't I have that one? Hold on just a minute. I'm sorry.
Well, I have the agenda document ready to go when anybody.
Yeah,
if you
but
want
you
me-
can't edit on that one. It's in it's a PDF.
Well,
Right.
you can. Do you have Adobe Acrobat?
Yeah, I have, I can add,
You can edit in Adobe.
I can edit, I can make notes, I can do anything you want on it, but the question is, what document are we talking about?
I don't understand why. This is what you just.
Well, I think it needs to be the one that we have in the agenda.
Oh, it definitely does. Look,
It's
just
the
a
one that
second.
has the handwritten notes on it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay,
Just use
wait.
that one with
No,
the
where
notes.
is it from? That's where is it?
And it's on page 14 that we'll be starting.
Just talk about the one with
Okay.
the notes. Put the one up with the notes. let's talk about it. And we'll
With the
write on here
notes,
what we
I
want to
don't-
change.
What notes?
The PDF file that has the notes, put that up.
Is
We'll
everybody
talk
on page
about it,
14?
and we'll change anything
The
we
one
want to
that we
write.
made all the red things
This
on?
one right here.
I don't have it.
Yes, you do. I sent it to everybody.
I know you did, but, oh, here's proposed rules, changes. No. just-
Okay, first, we're gonna do like we did last time. We're gonna take a section at a time. We'll vote on it. I'll entertain a motion and second for the sections. And after discussions and changes, like I said, we're starting with subchapter C, that's titled Procedures for Obtaining Licensure or Certification. I think right off or certification needs to be scratched because we've taken the word certification out of the whole
Yeah.
document.
You don't have it?
I do.
Are we gonna show this on the
Okay,
screen?
I've got the new one.
Ma'am?
But anyway, we'll do it.
We're on C. Go to C.
Because I'm.
Are we gonna show it on the screen at all?
Oh, I haven't shared it. Do you, I think they stopped. Can I share it?
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you can share it.
Yeah.
Or Dr. Vance, somebody needs to share it.
Okay.
I was offering to, but
I'm sorry. Can y'all see it now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, all right.
Go to
Go up
C.
one page, starting right there.
Page
Okay,
13.
there we go. All right.
Okay.
So right off, I recommend taking out that or licensure in the title of C, since we've taken the word licensure out everywhere.
I'm sorry. What are you saying? What's she saying?
Well, we got to take out or certification, not.
That's
or
what I
license.
meant, or certification, sorry.
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh, great. Well, so this is the PDF document that I
Yeah.
can't, this is not the right document.
It-
Okay,
Leave it alone.
leave it alone. Yeah, well,
You can if you.
how do I do it?
You have to open it in Acrobat, but it's.
Right, on
okay.
section,
I'm gonna write it on here. and
section
you-
A, there's been no change under there.
No change.
Then down to 3525 application, there's not a change until you get down to B, where the word cytotechnologist has been changed to cytologist.
Yes, they're changing their name. Nobody's gonna be cytotechnicians anymore.
Okay,
Yay. Can you scroll up to that paragraph under that section? So do we need to take out in that last, where it
Take out.
says the board shall issue the applicant a license or certificate for the practice of.
that or
CLS?
certification,
That needs
yeah.
to be taken out. I'm
Yeah,
trying to try
And
to-
then even further down, it has another or certification.
Right, you're correct.
Yeah. Do we have a motion possibly that the words or certification be totally removed from this whole document?
I so move that we remove the word certification out of this entire document.
I second.
That's a motion by Michelle, second by Jessica. So whenever the rules are getting retyped for us to review again, those words can be removed.
Yes.
Okay.
That's good.
And that cytotechnologists throughout the whole document. Michelle, would you like to reword that to maybe include or certification and the words be removed and cytotechnologist in the whole entire document be changed to cytologist?
I move that the word certification be removed from the entire document, along with the word cytotechnologist be replaced with cytologist throughout the entire document.
Okay. Do you have a
Good.
second?
Second,
Who's that?
Tabitha.
Okay.
The document that I can type into is not.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and take a vote just on this section and we can at least move on from those two items.
I know.
All those in favor of removing the word certification from the entire rules document and removing the word cytotechnologist, but replacing it with cytologist in the entire document?
Wait, y'all, we can't remove the word certification. We.
Oh, no, you can't.
You can remove the word certificate. We're not giving out a certificate anymore, like for phlebotomists, they got a certificate. But certification is all nationally
exams.
accredited
It's
certification.
an exam. We can't take that out.
Certification is everywhere in this document.
Never mind. Would you, how about out of this section, Michelle?
Out of section C.
I don't know even that.
All right, how about out of section C, number 3523, part A, number 3525, part A and B. Well, let's get that far.
3523 from A, right?
But it's here too. But it's right here too. Licensure or certification.
Yeah.
Yeah, for A. Okay.
Just on this page.
Okay.
Just what's
Remove
on
the word certification. Okay, we got
Okay.
it.
All right, all those in favor? You may say aye if you agree.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on. On to page 15.
Yeah, and this, so we tried to be consistent with this verbiage, administered by a nationally accredited agency approved by the board. Or, and then in this case, because it was for the, this is for a, this is for the phlebotomist, right? An applicant for like, wait, Patsy, help me.
No,
out.
this is for applications for all the different
For all of
sections.
them,
Yeah,
right.
all of them.
So we put in administered by a nationally accredited agency approved by the board or other certifying agency approved by the board. Because for phlebotomists, there probably some certifying agencies, Patsy said she doesn't know if they're all nationally accredited. So that was why we thought we would include this here. Right, Patsy?
Yes, and I think that at the level of phlebotomy, that's appropriate.
Is there
But
any
it does-
discussion?
Don't vote on anything yet.
Okay.
Okay, because I got one more comment. Under number 3 on page 15 at the top, it says a copy of the registration or certification card. That needs to be changed to primary source verification of certification. Indicating, primary source verification indicating successful completion of a certification examination administered by a nationally accredited agency approved by the board and other certifying agency approved by the board. I don't take any cards that have that the applicant has, because those can be altered. So
Okay.
we require primary source verification from ASCP or AMT or whatever.
Okay. Moving on.
So this was already voted on to strike out. Oh, maybe not.
No, it hasn't.
Maybe
Nothing's
not.
been
You're
voted
right.
on.
You're right. This has not been voted
Yeah,
on.
none of section C. Okay.
This was part of the task force or the group of people who originally got together to work on this.
This is the recommendations from the task force.
Yeah.
Yes. We
So-
did take out that word "and" at the end of line 4, under number 4.
Well, because we would.
Because we left out number 5.
Y'all can read that and see what it says. Patsy said we don't, this is about reciprocity
What is?
from a licensed authority of the other state, attesting to the licensure status of an applicant.
we don't do
We
that.
don't do reciprocity. So that's why that was taken out.
All right. Any comments? On down to section C.
So the numbers, evidence of completion of a satisfactory, this was under phlebotomist, Patsy.
We're under lab assistant. Evidence of completion of a satisfactory, there, you
No,
know,
we're under cytotechnology, we're under
What?
cytology.
No, you're not. That was section B. You're down in section C.
Oh,
We're
okay.
on
Oh, I
C.
see. Okay, all right. Oh, y'all, I'm so sorry. It's been a long day. Okay, yeah. So we decided you don't need this evidence of completion of a satisfactory training program because
they're
when
gonna
you-
submit the moderate complexity competency checklist.
So if you go down to what has now become number 5, because 4 became 3 and whatever. Anyway, it says moderate complexity testing if it is to be performed, documentation of competency in the area of testing to be formed. So that would be a requirement. So this would be redundant.
All right, so you can, right now, you're saying that a lab assistant can get a license without that competency document as long as they don't do moderate complexity testing.
Well, according to what this says, I guess they could, but I don't know.
Well, maybe it needs to be reworded.
You
You're
know,
right, Jay.
those, yeah, I don't like the way it's worded.
So, you know, maybe
You're
the
right.
committee wants to change that to lab assistants will have their competency documented, you know, with that competency form.
Mhm.
I would say take the word if out because
Or just take out if
Just
moderate
put
complexity
documentation of competency in the area of testing to be performed is required.
Does it need to say using the board's form?
I don't think you have to have that, but we can put that in there. I think I won't take it any other way. So
And
we might as
how-
well.
And how often are they doing this? Because
They
when
only, okay, this is the way it is, and maybe we need to word that in it. We need to put something in about that. The way that it is done now is once somebody gets a lab assistant license, the lab that trained them has to maintain that document. And if they add anything, train that person to do more, they have to add it to their checklist. It never comes back to the board. They keep, so if Alexa went in to check them and they're doing a test that's not on the checklist, that's supposed to be held by their laboratory, then they should be in trouble.
I can say emphatically that does not happen. They get that lab assistant license and they never go back to a checklist, even if they have more specialties added.
Or if they
then
change
they
hospitals.
should not be performing
Yeah.
anything that's not on the on a lab held checklist.
But
So we
that's,
might want to put something in like that.
aren't the rules where that should be defined? Because that's not defined.
Yeah, well, then let's define, I think we should define it.
Well, let me go backwards a little bit. They still have to meet CLIA requirements, which are annual competency on everything that they perform. So it is captured, but not in the licensure scope. So if they get a lab assistant license for hematology and then leave that facility, I mean, I'm just telling you that competency checklist does not go with them anywhere else. And they may go to another physician office lab where they have chemistry and they get trained and start performing that too.
And that lab has no documentation of that they've been trained.
well, as long as they hold competency at the facility they are working at, then that would meet the requirements. As long as they're trained and are competent at the facility in which they are working.
Yeah.
It would be just like an
It's
ML.
a competency assessment required by us, but it's not a competency checklist for specialties with the board.
Well, I guess that's okay. I mean, that's not, yeah.
I don't know that there's a good mechanism to track that for the board without like, I don't know how
We
many.
can't track. No, the board can't track.
But it would be a little extra work.
Yeah, no, we can't track that.
It would be very similar if an MLT or an MLS was working, say, in hematology at one facility and was deemed competent there and had no other competency but hematology. They moved to a different facility and were working in chemistry. It's the same idea, is that they would have to meet the competency at the facility in which they are working to meet the CLIA regulations. And for that matter, CLIA and CAP and COLA and Joint Commission all have the same. It's initial training, 6 months, a year, and then annually thereafter. So as long as the lab assistant.
Sounds okay. That's okay with me.
So the difference is that any other license has passed a board certification for all the specialties is the difference here. However, the lab assistant, the whole point of the lab assistant is they're not supposed to be doing independent, how is it worded?
Does it require independent judgment?
There you go, independent judgment, and they should have oversight.
Yes.
You're gonna have competency by us. So I'm really, that's kind of, I guess, to some extent, how the board wants to handle that. Are you going to leave it to the facilities to ensure that they have competency training by someone qualified to do it in all the specialties once they get that license forever, or?
Well.
So what is the purpose of collecting this check sheet then initially?
I'm not speaking for the board, but I kind of am. I believe it is to, before they license them, that somebody that is licensed has
vouched for
they're competent to do it before they start testing individuals within the state of Louisiana.
Before they're given the
come in for 2 years, or any regulatory agency.
Yeah.
So, and they have to renew every year like we do, right? So what would it hurt? I mean, I know it's probably more work for the board. Why wouldn't they resubmit a checklist every year? No, Michelle's shaking her head no.
I go back to
manager signing off.
I go back to the competency performed on site for the testing they're responsible for. It would be up to the facility to verify that the individual is qualified to do testing there on site.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, and I'm kind of looking at how it would apply for us on site. We now have the code of ethics, which we're going to get to, which includes every individual who's licensed in the state, ensuring that no one is, they report if anyone's testing without a license and all of those things. So whoever's signing their competency annually would, and like if I'm looking at it, if I go in and see that somebody started performing chemistry testing that wasn't licensed for it, it would be whoever signed off on them and allowed them to test. Their license would be, you could take action against their license.
Or equivalent. Do we need to say that out loud to the board?
Yes. Y'all under number 3?
C.
C for laboratory assistant application. It really should say copy of high school transcript or equivalent. Because diplomas, people can make their own easy.
But what about for the schools that have burnt down or flooded? How are they going to get their transcript when those records are not available any longer?
They are through the State Board of Education.
Yeah, it's the State
Everybody,
Board of
all the schools turn it into the State Board of Education.
Those I don't believe are, yeah.
So they don't have to go to the school.
Well, I agree, but okay. I've had this issue come up before where it wasn't available because the high school it wasn't available for whatever reason.
Okay.
I mean, we tried to get it from the state board and they couldn't even find, it wasn't, they couldn't find it. It said the records from that.
I guess in that case, they could, appeal to the licensure board and say, it's gone.
Yeah.
And
they
this is
did.
what I have.
Yeah, they have done
and they
that.
would make that. But I think it needs to be a rule,
Yeah.
I would hate to think someone my age trying to find a transcript.
The State Board of Education should have it. But I mean, you know, things
We
do
didn't even
get
have
lost.
computers.
I know. We ought to
Okay.
try and get one, huh?
Each application, did we change that for licensures? Because I changed it on the other document.
I don't know what you're talking
All right, so what is the recommendation on number 3? What is the board recommending? here?
Copy of high
Committee?
school transcript or equivalent.
Okay. And then what about number 5?
This is for an application.
Right.
We need the competency checklist. So it's just saying that they have to have, we decided to take the if off, huh?
Well, you can't.
Well,
'cause
does it have to
doesn't make
be,
sense.
does it have to be the competency checklist from the board? If it does, it needs to say that, because it doesn't
Yeah.
say that.
I think the initial one should be the boards. That will make the boards the same across for everybody.
I agree. I think we could take that whole first line off and performed off and just say documentation of competency in the area of testing to be performed.
But it should say using the
We can.
competency form from the board
Using
or something, whatever it's called. If that's what you're going to
Using,
require.
The, what is it called?
competency checklist.
Competency. Provided by the board.
Yes, that's fine.
So all the following, and it's going to say documentation of competency in the area of testing to be performed using the competency checklist provided. Should it say in the areas of testing? You want to put?
No,
Okay, all right,
they just check off whatever
okay.
they know. It
Okay.
can
All
be
right,
in several
next.
areas.
Next section is B. And certification, and it's been marked out as licensure.
Yeah, and we missed one because it's here. Each application for certification, it should say licensure.
Yeah. Boy, it's hard to catch all
Yeah,
these
every
things.
time we look at this, we
See more.
other things. Yeah.
Okay.
And the certification exam is the nationally recognized has been taken off.
Yes.
Well, this was for phlebotomists. So specifically, yeah, it was taken off because, like Patsy said, some of these certifying agencies, they probably
I don't know if
don't
they're,
all have national accreditation.
I don't know if they do or
And
not.
we thought for phlebotomists, that's okay.
Any discussion? All right, next section, C. That's another C. Should that be a D? No, that's a.
I thought it.
Oh, wait a
These
minute.
letters don't match.
Wait, they don't.
You have a
We
C
got
for
C.
application.
1 through 5, and
And
this
then-
B should be D, huh?
No, B jumps.
No.
That should be D. Yeah,
Yeah, it should be D.
Yeah, it should be a D.
Yeah.
This B right here, application.
And then C should be an E.
And that, yeah, it should be E.
All right, so that one's multiple licensure and it's taken out the word certified. And then on
Bottom
to,
line, Angela.
Here, this multiple license.
Yeah.
That should be what? Multiple license.
We just took out certified.
Mine's in the different. Okay. Multiple licensure should be B. Is that right?
E.
Oh, that one should be E. Okay.
Yeah.
all right, next on page 16, it jumps to section 3527, expiration and renewal of licenses and certificates. Is there a certificate? If not, we need to take that off.
No more certificates.
All right.
Okay, I'm working on a Word document on the side that I'm making these changes in, okay?
All right.
This is the PDF that we're looking at, but I have a Word document that matches this without all the red hand printed stuff.
Okay, I'm also taking out our certificate at the end of A.
Okay,
So there are two or certificates out of A. And then there's one out of B.
there's one in B. There's one in C.
Of course.
And then there's another, that's a different section. It's 3527. And it's a
Yeah.
C. And then there's another C.
No.
Or is that, is that 3527 dot
A.
C?
A, B, C. This second C needs to be a D, right?
Well, does that 3527 have to be listed again? Because that's
It really
No.
shouldn't. I'm gonna take it out.
It should
Okay.
not. And this C should be D.
and certificate
And the C,
and certificate.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll take it out.
All right, you had a note here about asking the analyst about mail. What did y'all find
I
out?
did. I asked them and yes, they do still take renewal things by mail. They don't like it, but we're gonna have to put, so what I did was insert after submitted electronically or mailed or by mail. I don't know. What do y'all want me to say?
Angela, could you move the screen just a little bit?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
I'm taking out more certificates that y'all missed.
All right, are we gonna let by mail include FedEx?
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't like it, but they still do take some.
All right, any comments, discussion on section 3527? Well, we're gonna,
I
we're
guess
just gonna,
I have one question. If they take it by mail, what are they doing about the CE broker?
I don't know how, I guess they're submitting their whole renewal package by mail.
but we've already said they couldn't, didn't we?
Right, because it's got to come through CE broker. CE broker has to do the electronic part.
I don't know how they're doing that.
Okay, well, if they know how.
Right, you're right. I mean,
May I ask-
any stuff that they submit would have to be things that CE broker would take, but somebody's gonna have to look at it. I think this is for old people that don't have computers.
Well, let me say this to you. Unfortunately, I think we have to standardize this. And I think we need to reapply and renew online and not by paper. It's just too cumbersome.
I agree.
And so I think if you want to change the rules, change the rules. Anybody that's working in a laboratory that is not using a computer, give me a break. What
Really?
lab is that?
At least they gotta know somebody that they can use their computer, you know? Or use the one at work.
So
Okay, so we're
again,
taking that out.
I'd like to do this as much as I can by computer to save time, expedite processing, and reduce costs.
Okay.
So what's the discussion here? What are y'all gonna do? We're gonna take by mail out or not? What do y'all wanna do?
I say yes.
We have a
Everybody?
public comment.
An application for renewal.
We have a public comment.
Okay,
I need to read this into the record. This comes from Carrie Cock. I cannot get the public comment email to work. It keeps kicking back my emails. What is the correct email? Well, Carrie, we got your comment. Thank you very much. Move on.
An application for renewal of license. Or can you read it, Patsy, how it's supposed to work, read? An application
For renewal of license form shall be submitted electronically by each person holding a license issued under this chapter or before November 15th of each year.
By each person, what?
By each person holding a license issued under this chapter on or before November 15th of each year.
Okay.
So the meal part's gone. Good.
Ms. Brunson, I have another comment from Mr. Cock.
Okay.
Need to tell you that there is a inconsistency, public comment for B3 on page 15, inconsistency in requirement for exams, certification / examination requirements for the medical laboratory scientist / categorical are inconsistent with the requirements for medical laboratory technologist and a medical laboratory technician, as there is an exemption from being nationally accredited by the board. That's his comment.
Thank you for your comment.
I don't even understand that.
I think that's on B. We haven't, remember we changed it. I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know what he's talking about.
All right.
We can all hear you talking, so make sure you clarify it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that might be under B, which we had some suggested changes, and we haven't looked at that yet. Right? We didn't go back to B. We started at C.
This is public comment for B3 on page 15.
Right, and we haven't looked at that.
Yeah, we did do page
Okay.
15.
Yeah, we're on page 15.
Oh, B. Oh, I'm sorry.
B3. B.
Okay, there's his
All right.
comment. You'll
Yeah.
do whatever you want to do with it,
Okay.
but
All right, okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, on 3529 fees is where we were next. It says clinical laboratory scientist. Didn't we change it to medical earlier in the document?
Yes, we did.
And cytotechnologist to cytologist?
Yeah. I don't know where we are.
At the very bottom of 16, fees.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Cytology.
And a reminder to everyone, even after we make our changes and all now, it'll be re-reviewed by the committee. And then once we fine tune it, then it will go to the LSBME and the lawyers, and then they review it. So, you know, what changes and recommendations and edits we make tonight are not final in any way. On page 17, it's exceptions. I had a question about number 2, a duplicate fee. Is there any point of having a duplicate fee when anybody can go on the internet and reprint their document for their
some
license?
people want us to do it, and if we do it, we're going to charge. If you do it for free, you get it for free. But there is a fee. If somebody says, I want a new wall plaque, we have to charge them for it. But
Gotcha.
yes. But if there's a lot of stuff, and I will tell you that it won't be long, you'll be getting your license on your LA Wallet.
Good.
Oh, I like
Dr.
that.
Van,
Yeah.
this is Tracy. Let me just clarify. I don't think they can go online and print a new wall certificate, but they can
No.
print a wallet card.
Right, they can print a wallet card, but we have to
Right.
provide, and we have to charge for the wall certificate. That's what I was
Correct.
saying. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay. So we'll leave that in.
So we want to leave in our certificate here because it is a certificate, right?
Not, there's not a temporary certificate.
No, under 2. Under duplicate fee, the fee for obtaining a duplicate license,
Oh, yeah, I'd leave that
Certificate?
like it is.
leave this or certificate.
Or, yeah.
Oh, wow, I thought we were getting rid of certificates.
I don't know. What's the difference in so if the license, the wall.
That's your wall certificate.
Yeah, put the word wall in there. Make it say wall certificate.
Okay, or wall.
However, whatever they call that, it's
Yeah.
what's on the wall or what you can frame.
Right, okay.
Gotcha. I forgot we had those.
Okay.
This
Mine's
is Tracy.
kind
Let
of
me
old.
chime in again. If you're talking about initial licensure, you're probably talking about the wall certificate. If you're talking about a renewal, it's probably the wallet card.
Yeah.
But some people will ask us for a wall certificate, and we need to be
Correct.
able to charge for it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Very good. All right, number 3, the recommendation is to remove that paragraph.
Right, no more temporary permits.
So you need to renumber the next is number 3.
Okay.
So
I'm
trainee
doing
license
that
is number
on this,
3.
This is deleted. And training becomes number 3. Okay.
All right, that finishes subchapter C. Is there any recommendation, any discussion to go back on any of these sections, fine tune it in any way before we vote?
Any sections of subchapter C? you're talking
Correct.
about? Okay.
If there's no discussion or recommendations, do we have a motion to accept chapter C with the changes as discussed thus far?
Wait, I'm just noticing something. You know, under A1, under fees, we said medical laboratory scientist, all categories. Well, we have medical laboratory scientists, categorical medical laboratory scientist, and we have medical laboratory technician. Do we need to?
That means all of those.
Are they all $65?
Yes.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it says medical laboratory scientist, but the MLT is not called a medical.
then change it to personnel. Change scientist to personnel then.
Medical laboratory personnel. Okay.
No, that you can't do that.
No, because that'll
Lab
take
assistant is
care of
personnel
everybody.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, laboratory assistant.
You know,
We could
so
just
actually
say
it's medical laboratory scientist and medical laboratory scientist categorical. There are only 2. So we really don't have MLT on here.
no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So how do y'all, while we're doing it, let's fix it. Y'all wouldn't want to just say medical laboratory scientist, medical laboratory technician?
Technician, yeah, that way there won't be any question about whether they're included, because we want to be sure they're included.
Medical laboratory scientist
Categorical.
categorical. Okay, I got it.
Okay. Did everybody hear that? Number 1 is going to say medical laboratory scientist, medical laboratory technician, and medical laboratory scientist categorical.
And then I can take out all categories because that
Yeah.
is all categories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all, Alexa said she got kicked out of the meeting and that she's sitting in the waiting room if somebody let her back in.
I just admitted her.
Thank you.
All right, any more discussion on subchapter C?
MLS-C or dash category.
Would anyone like to make a motion to accept it with the changes as discussed?
I move that we accept all the changes to subchapter C as discussed.
Any second?
Oh, no seconds?
I second it.
Is
Who's
that
that?
Jessica?
Okay.
Second by Jessica.
Okay, got it.
Okay, moving on. And y'all don't forget, we have 6 investigations to discuss after this.
Yeah.
So now we're in subchapter D, which is unprofessional conduct. This whole section is in addition to our rules. We did not have that, but we obviously need it. Hence, we're having 6 investigations afterward.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tell Alexa, we did put in that verbiage. Remember where it is?
Oh, yeah.
Nancy? Anyway, I mean, has everybody read over this?
So
Yeah, I guess everybody has their own copy, but if y'all want me to go, you want me to go slowly to everybody to read it, or is everybody kind of okay with it?
Did you have something to,
Angela, that's basically based around the laws that was passed at the last session. Isn't
that's
it?
what I was going to ask. Did you have something to base this off of so that it's similar to the rest of LSBME's?
I
what they
think a
have?
lot of this, didn't it come from
It comes from a law that was passed in the last session. So we're just codifying what's in the law in the rules too.
So, Alexa, look at number 9. Is Alexa back?
I am. You have 2 number 9s, but I think it was the first
The
one.
first number 9, we do have. I'll have to fix that. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it when I read it earlier.
That was some verbiage that you had wanted in there.
Come in here, get your drink, food and stuff. I'm just on this meeting, and when this freezer kicks on, I think here.
10 AB. This should be 10, this should be 11. Oh, it's
No,
B.
there's no
That's a
11.
B. Okay, that's a B. All right.
We're good. They just need to put in, the attorneys will put in those RS
The
numbers.
historical notes, I guess.
All the historical notes that we'll put them in as part of the staff's effect. What I'm going to need from you all, if this is where you want to stop, or whether you would need me again, whatever you finish this thing, you give it to us, and our lawyers will put it in a language that it's supposed to look like, with the appropriate references, and then we'll bring it back to you all for a vote at a meeting the next time we could get, after we get this.
If there are no recommended changes to this new section D, we would entertain a motion and second to accept it.
I'll move to accept the additions of the unprofessional conduct in subchapter D.
That's Angela.
I second.
That's Jessica, seconded. Hey, we did not vote on did we vote on section C?
No.
Okay, so we have a motion and second on section C. We're going back to section C to get a vote from the committee. Sorry about that. It was to accept it as it was. All those in favor of accepting section C, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right, section C is carried. Sorry about that. Now on to section D. We have a motion by Angela and second by Jessica. All those in favor of accepting section D with that one change of the numbers, say aye.
Wait,
Ma'am?
Gay.
Yes.
Okay, section D, let me see, I'm scrolling down, the second 9C, section D, second 9C, shouldn't that be practiced by consent decision? Is it
That's a
SON?
misspelling. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's
Here,
a
am I
typo.
on it?
We're section D.
Is it on the screen?
Yes. Yeah, move up, move your cursor over an inch, half inch. Whoops, too far.
Consent, a sunset. Okay. I'll
Yeah,
see
that's a
that.
typo.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
And I think failure is spelled wrong. I'm opening the rules from the email just because it's hard to follow along on the screen share, so.
Yeah. Where is failure misspelled?
The first 9, failure.
Oh,
my
yeah.
Gosh, thank you. I mean, that would have gotten you.
Yeah, we didn't type this.
Hey, I just realized I was on mute for that last vote, and I said nay. I just wanted to make sure that was put in the record.
On subchapter C or D? Both of them?
Which one? C? We haven't voted on D yet, have we?
Okay, no.
No, ma'am.
I think
We have not.
Okay, I didn't realize I was on mute. I'm sorry.
Okay, who is that?
Ashley. Ware.
Ashley.
Ashley.
All right, so now we're ready to take a vote on subchapter D, unprofessional conduct with the typo changes. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Not, these
All those opposed?
ones about,
No one's opposed to the conduct. All right. So next on to, this will be the last section, section E, continuing education. Looks like most of it has been removed because of modern technology. So right off the bat, under 3531 general requirement A, we took out or certified. 3533 took out or certified.
Shouldn't it say all medical laboratory personnel?
Yeah,
Yes.
medical.
yes.
Yeah, okay, Mimi, I'm in a meeting.
On that section A, taking out that about the 1.2 continuing education units or CEUs.
Nobody uses CEUs anymore. You know, it was 10 hours for one CEU, 10 hours of CE for one CEU. Nobody does that anymore. So we just, you know, it's CEs, continuing education
Hours.
you know, CE hours, and it's just an hour. Do y'all
Alrighty.
remember, do y'all remember that when there were CEUs?
Mhm.
I don't know. Anyway, we just took it out because
Alrighty.
nobody does that anymore.
So it looks like the next section, 3535A, it's been removed. And 3537A, and then down to credit hours awarded, 3535.
Well, 30, yeah. This was added in credit hours awarded. Because it's underlined, right, Patsy? That means that was added.
Yes.
Now we have the capability in CE Broker to give you quarter hours, tenths hours, that kind of thing. So you may take a quarter hour course and then you can add it with 3 other quarter hour courses to get an hour.
Oh, yeah, if that's the total length of the course, is that what you're
No,
saying?
no, he's saying you can take 4 quarter hour courses on CE Broker.
You can support, there are areas in our licensees areas that have 15-minute CEs, okay? Continuing education course of 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So we would recognize a quarter of an hour, 0.25.
Well,
And
I
then-
think what
You
this
still
is
have to add up
addressing,
to 12.
yeah, I don't think it's addressing that. It's just saying that if it's an hour course, you can't quit in 15 minutes. You got to take the whole thing.
For partial completion of a 1 hour program. In other words, if you go to attend a 1 hour credit session.
We don't grant those credits, okay? The agency that's credentialing and giving the course, and they're responsible for deciding how long you stayed and how long you get credit for. The board can't do that, okay?
So maybe we need to delete this whole section.
Well, I'm just telling you, what I'm trying to say is, we're trusting the national credentialing agencies that approve these courses to be able to say, if I signed up for the course, I completed the course, I got the number of hours the course
I
gave.
understand.
Yeah.
And I think you're right, for sure. So I think maybe, what do y'all think that we can just delete this credit hours awarded? Because we don't have to deal with this anymore.
Correct.
Okay.
So I think it
Delete
should
it.
all be deleted. Yeah.
Are you deleting section A or the whole? Just
Well,
only
35,
35.
It's all A, so I'm deleting
Okay.
35.
Okay, so deleting section 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then moving down to 35, sources of continuing education.
Yeah, we reworded that.
Any discussion on that?
Now, I want to make sure, are you leaving yourselves up to certifying these courses? Are we, because the way this says, sources of continuing education for the purpose of satisfying the continuing education requirements will be recommended by the committee and approved by the board. But is that, I mean, are you now going to be doing things that are outside of nationally accredited programs?
No. It's
Okay.
not, it's not intended that way.
All right, well, just, we'll
It's
figure
just
out.
that if it is a national entity, they would then approach the committee and say they want to be a provider.
That's fine. Okay. I just
Not a
wanna make sure.
hospital, not, you know, not a individual, not a. I'm
A
only talking
hospital can
about,
go and get it. A hospital can go and get its course accredited by a national organization, and that's all they have to do because it's going to be coming back to you. You won't have to come back to you.
right, and that's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to get out of the approval business? I mean, how do we?
Somebody's gonna have
How
to
do we
determine.
say what is an acceptable source of continuing education?
The committee is
better said.
Well, the committee is going to basically require that everything be a nationally accredited course, even if it's a local course put on by a local hospital. The board's not going to accredit it. The nationally accrediting agency will accredit the course.
I think the intention of this is just saying ASCP is approved by the committee and the board. And that all those entities are approved.
All right, well, we'll tune up that language just as long as we know what you mean.
Yeah, okay.
all right. Next is on page 21, section C. All continuing education units must be submitted through the electronic tracking system of the board. And it looks like there's nothing else.
All right, Angela, as soon as you're finished with whatever you're going to do with this, send it to us, please, and we'll start drafting it in the proper language for rulemaking.
There was a question on page 24 about whether that section 3543 was needed. The proof of compliance. If anything, proof of compliance with the continuing education requirement shall be met within the electronic tracking system
Right.
approved by the
Right,
board.
so I
That's
don't think
correct.
we need it.
I don't
Do we-
think we need it.
Okay.
We don't need that
Take
sentence.
that off.
But
Okay.
we,
Yeah, okay.
because we're not going to do audits anymore. You don't have your 12 hours, you don't get to renew. That's all there is to it.
Is there any more discussion for subchapter E, continuing education?
Let me check and see if there's any public comment that have come in. No public comments have come in, ma'am.
Do we have any more discussion? If not, I'd entertain a motion and second to accept chapter E, subchapter E with the recommendations as already stated.
I recommend that subchapter E be accepted with the recommendations of change.
Because the motion is Michelle.
I second.
Oh, no, give it that.
Is that Tabitha second?
Yes, ma'am.
Second by Tabitha. And as I said, remember, we are just cleaning it up enough so that we can rediscuss it again. Thank y'all so much.
No, Dr. Van wants me to send it to the board, but
No, you don't send it to
For
the
the
board.
attorneys.
You send it to
The
our
attorney.
staff, and
Okay.
we're going to redraft it in the way it should look and then bring it back to you all for your approval.
Okay. Well, we didn't, what time is it, y'all? Sorry.
It is
8 o'clock.
10 to 8, 8 to 8.
Okay, so 2 hours. Well,
Wait, we didn't vote on this yet.
okay, go ahead.
We need to vote.
Yeah.
That's correct. We need to vote on subsection E with the changes as recommended for continuing education. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Y'all are mute.
Aye. Am I mute? I'm not muted.
No.
Michelle's muted.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next on our agenda is executive session.
Wait a minute.
Ma'am.
We had some additional changes to A and B. I know we've already approved them, but I hate to send them to the attorneys if we might want to change anything. Did you see the other red changes in A and B?
No, I skipped totally to the section that had not been approved.
It's not that much. Should we revote on that? Or wait until we come back to it again?
I personally would like to see us
Finish.
move on and get these 6. I'm still stuck at work. But if
Yeah.
we need to get it done, we can get it done. What would the committee like to do?
We could schedule and we can go, we have to do the investigations. I mean, we could schedule another committee, another meeting.
Well, and when they retype it.
Yeah, it'll be cleaner.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do it. We could schedule another meeting in a couple of weeks. Or since we can meet by Zoom.
I agree.
What?
I agree. I think we should wait. We probably all have been at work all day today. So
Yeah. So,
Okay.
we maybe, since we could meet by Zoom, it's not such an onerous job to try to get everybody together. I mean, it was almost impossible. This new law that allows us to meet by Zoom is going to just revolutionize
Yeah, make this a lot
how
better.
we can meet, and how often we can meet.
We could do that, have another meeting to revisit sections A and B before it goes to be retyped.
Whatever y'all want to do. Y'all.
Well, because it shouldn't be retyped except as has already been voted on.
No, right. We can't send it like this. We can't
Okay.
send the changes to A and B because it hadn't been voted on. It's up to y'all. Y'all want to have another meeting?
we can change A and B after they send us that version back, right?
We can.
Yeah, I know I personally would like a little time to look over it all again, before voting on something again tonight.
I agree. I'd like it to be cleaned up and then it will make an easier document to read.
So let me say
But
this.
that's just it. Some of the changes that they marked on A and B were not voted on.
No, right. We'd have to have another meeting to vote.
So
on
A and
it.
B can't be
Can't
retyped.
be cleaned up.
No.
No, but
So can we make,
So we've had, this document with the electronic strikeouts has already been to us, over a year.
I know.
I know.
But so what we could do is, since a lot of this stuff has already been, so for the things that we haven't made additional changes on in A and B, I can go ahead and, get a final copy, accept changes. And then for the few things that we think we need to revisit, we could just look at those. Because we don't have to reapprove all of A and B because we've already done it. These would just be the additional changes.
Whatever.
Or whatever y'all want. Well, I can leave it like it is, whatever y'all want.
I would suggest that you plan another meeting because I want ultimately a final document that people can look at, review, and vote on
One
at
more
the, at all, so that we don't be accused of doing stuff in the dark or without
Yeah,
proper
that's
information.
fine. That's fine. I agree. So I said we should have one more meeting.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll plan one more meeting with the focus of re-reviewing the whole document, including the changes, and let us reprocess it all through our heads the way it's done now.
Okay, that's
With
good.
recommendations, you know, y'all read it and look at it. You don't like the way it sounds or don't like the way it says, you know, have a recommendation.
Yeah, fine, that'd be great.
I just
Alright.
I need to get it so we can clean it up.
All right.
Okay, so when do y'all have an idea when you could meet? Is it possible to
month?
meet next week?
In a month, 2
Oh,
weeks.
no.
Send out,
We got
send
we got
out-
a full board meeting coming up on the 29th, so we're gonna be busy preparing for that.
Okay,
You know, if you want to meet the first week in September, that's fine with me.
I'll
I say
send out a
send-
doodle.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna put you in charge of that, Patsy. Send out the doodle
Okay,
and just let us know.
okay.
And,
Need some time.
already for the first full week of September, I don't do it on the holiday.
Oh, no. Okay,
All righty, so now, next item on the agenda
You need
Is
to move to go into executive session,
is
ma'am.
executive session. Do I have a motion for us to go into executive session?
I make a motion.
Motion by Jessica, any second?
Second, Tabitha.
Second, Tabitha. All those in favor of going into executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all visitors for participating.
Okay,
We're now
give me a
going in.
second and I'll move you over.
Hey, shameless plug, make sure you go in and look at the Federal Register and comment.
Yes.
yeah, don't forget.
Don't
Everybody
forget.
remember,
We only have till next Thursday, right?
That's correct. Next Thursday at 4 p.m. the public comment
is there a
closes.
specific link?
Yeah, Patsy emailed it a couple times, but look, y'all can email me and I'll send you any of those documents or the links or anything.
Okay,
Yeah, Patsy emailed it to us all. If you just click
Okay.
on that link, it takes you there, and then there's a section of tab for public comments.
Yeah.
Alexa, can we share your summary that you sent us, that email you sent us? Can we share that where you made it concise?
Yeah, I thought I had emailed it to everybody on the meeting agenda, but I'll go back and go to the original email and send it again.
So, but can we share with other med techs and other people, your summary?
Can we share?
It's technically mine, but sure.
Okay.
It's not technically mine, but sure.
It's nice to have the concise.
It is. It does help to kind of, yeah, it was a lot reading it.
Oh,
Or to
believe
make
me.
sense of it.
I know. Okay.
All right.
Righty.
Bye.
All right, everybody should be back.
Thank you, Ms. Jacinta.
You're welcome.
All righty, we've now exited executive session. Do I have a motion and second to approve the executive session minutes from our last meeting on December
8th.
8th of 2021?
I motion to
I'm
I'm
approve.
sorry, December 6th. I apologize.
Sorry.
December 6th.
All right,
My
December
mistake. Please
6th of
forgive me.
2021. Who made that motion?
Ashley?
Ashley, and do I get a second?
I second it. It's Tabitha.
Tabitha, second. All those in favor of accepting our minutes from the executive session on December 6, 2021, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'll go through and read the case number, and we'll entertain a motion and second entertain a recommendation with the motion, and we'll vote on each one. Or do we vote on them all? Yeah, we'll vote on each one. All right, first case is 2022-529. Do I have a recommendation in form of a motion?
I do. I have a recommendation that we require an evaluation, and if non-compliant, approved to summarily suspend.
Put Michelle.
Do we have a second?
I second.
I second. It's Jessica.
Jessica second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is case 2021-313. Do I have a recommendation in form of a motion?
I recommend to summarily suspend license of if the AHMA isn't signed.
And second?
So I second Angela.
Angela, second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is case 2020-454. I entertain a motion in the form of a recommendation.
I recommend to close the current case and report to NPDB for allowing license to expire while under investigation.
Do we have a second?
I second Tabitha.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next case, 2021-1345. Entertain a motion in form of a recommendation. Recommendation.
I
in
have a
form of
motion. Okay, we recommend to deny the straight waiver and recommend to meet with Dr. Questwell and follow his instructions to get drug testing if necessary.
Okay,
Who did that?
Tabitha.
that was Tabitha, the motion. Do we get a second?
I second. It's Angela.
Angela? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next case is 2022-378. Entertain a recommendation in the form of a motion.
We recommend that if this person does not sign the volunteer surrender of license, now the case moves to administrative hearing.
Do I get a second?
I second. It's Angela.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Who was the motion?
Anyone opposed?
The motion was made by Beverly? No,
Tabitha.
Tabitha, okay.
Sorry, I missed it.
Okay.
Let's vote again on this. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is case 2021-1382. Entertain a recommendation in the form of a motion.
I recommend a 2-year allied health monitoring program If the licensee is non-compliant, recommend a summarily suspended license.
Would anyone like to second?
I second, it's Angela.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I believe that does it for our agenda. Do we, we'll be expecting a doodle for our next upcoming meeting. And would anyone like to make a motion to, I forget what we're doing. Leave our session.
To
Adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn, yeah.
So we're gonna try to meet within the next couple of weeks. Is that what y'all saying? Maybe after the 1st of September? When do y'all want to try to meet?
I thought we were
Early
gonna-
September, I say.
Early September.
You won't be here.
I'm leaving on September the 8th. And
Well,
I'll be
let's
gone
try
for a
to
while. And can we do, what about the very end of August? Are y'all saying no? This today's-
Somebody couldn't do it then, I think.
We have a board meeting, the end of August, so the next 2 weeks really don't work for us. We have.
We,
board
we,
meeting
we're meeting on
prep.
29th.
Okay, oh, I see, okay.
Well, we'll try for the first week of September and
But-
see if we
but
can
Dave,
get a,
Did you say not the first week of September?
The 5th is a holiday, so just keep that in mind.
oh, yeah.
That's that's a Monday,
Monday,
right?
uh-huh.
But so maybe like the end, like right after the 29th, the board meeting, maybe,
I'll send out the doodle.
yeah, around the 1st of September, maybe? Okay,
Send out the doodle poll and then we'll know, give us some
Okay.
choices.
okay.
I recommend make a motion to adjourn.
Who's that?
I second.
That was Michelle.
Jessica second.
And
All
Jessica.
those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much for your
Anyone
time tonight. I
opposed?
know it's a long